Hello there, this is the Shadow Ranger. It's 11 p.m. and I can't sleep for some reason. So I'm gonna make a wrestling video and just talk about some random stuff. Over here this morning, today, it was 2/21/11. Nothing special happened. I gotta wait till 2/21/11 in the US to find out what the big surprise is. I was hoping maybe we could have got it a day early, but they didn't give it to me. I think I'll start off with a small pet peeve of mine. This isn't really a complaint towards the IWC. It's just a personal little pet peeve of mine. This Thursday on Impact, we had Jeff Hardy versus Rob Van Dam for the world title. I'm not a Jeff Hardy fan or a Rob Van Dam fan, so I didn't really care about the match that much. I mean, I know they did a lot of build, but it's two guys I don't really care about, so, something I heard a lot of people say in reviewing is that they thought it was bad that TNA did this match on Impact instead of a pay-per-view. They complained that, why did you do this match on free TV and not on pay-per-view? And yeah, that's a fair argument to make, but this is where the pet peeve of mine comes in. Since Thursday, I've read or watched several different reviews of Impact, and everybody made that same statement. But something that stood out to me is nobody in those reviews said that they would pay for a pay-per-view to see that match. And that's just a little pet peeve of mine. If you're going to make the argument that a match should be on pay-per-view, how can you make the argument that a match should be on pay-per-view if you yourself wouldn't order a pay-per-view to see that match? I mean, I think pay-per-views are $35 usually. I feel like if I'm gonna make the statement about a match in TNA, and I'm gonna make the statement, this match should have been on pay-per-view, this should not have been on free TV, then the very next sentence out of my mouth should be, I would pay $35 to see this match on pay-per-view. That's just a small pet peeve. Agree or disagree? If you wouldn't pay $35 if you wouldn't pay to see a match on pay-per-view, should you be able to make the argument that the match should have been on pay-per-view? I just think that if anybody says this match should have been on pay-per-view, the very next sentence out of their mouth should be, I would pay the money to see this match. That's just a pet peeve of mine. What else I want to talk about? Elimination Chamber pay-per-view was this morning. It's morning over here. Pay-per-views come on there. In my time zone, when a pay-per-view comes on, right now it's 10 a.m. because of the time difference if you watch them on stream. So it's 10 a.m. when the pay-per-view over here when the pay-per-view airs. So this morning was Elimination Chamber. I'm not going to review the Elimination Chamber. I really don't do much reviewing pay-per-views. I mean, I didn't do a match-by-match review of Against All Odds because plenty of other people did. I'm not doing a match-by-match review of this pay-per-view because I didn't watch all of the pay-per-view. I actually only watched the first match. I really didn't care enough about this pay-per-view to watch it. I didn't care enough about this pay-per-view to watch it illegally. I caught the very first match between Kofi and Del Rio while I was getting ready to go to work, and that was it. So I'm just going to talk about the results and just some thoughts on where we go. I did see Kofi Del Rio, and I did think that was a fun match. I was a little surprised that it wasn't for the Intercontinental title, because I don't expect Del Rio to win the world title at Mania, so I thought that maybe they put the Intercontinental title on him, and you could build it to Mania, make it a champion versus champion match or something like that. But, he got the win, and he's all well on his way to WrestleMania. Edge retained his title in the Chamber. He got attacked by Del Rio afterwards, and Christian made the save. I'm wondering, is this somehow going to lead to a triple threat match or just a mini feud with Del Rio and Christian leading into Mania? New tag champs Slater and Gabriel. just as I expected. Actually, I correctly predicted every match on this pay-per-view except one. The only match I got wrong was Miz Jerry Lawler. I thought Lawler might win and get like a short 1 day or 1 week title run, but he didn't. Miz retained. That's cool. Cena won the Raw Chamber, and so now we're looking at Miz Cena Mania. I'm still expecting The Rock to be the special guest referee. I also read about the segment with Cena. They said he was sitting back eating Fruity Pebbles, and then the interviewer asked him about The Rock, and he basically said, "I'm gonna focus on the Chamber," which I thought was the best thing he could say. I was thinking it a couple of days ago, and I forgot to mention in my last video. That's the best thing Cena could say I was thinking that the best thing Cena could say when they brought The Rock was just say The Rock's not an issue. He should treat The Rock like a non-issue. I think that's what they should do. I think they every time, but they did say he was eating Fruity Pebbles, so there's kind of acknowledge it. I wish they would have done that. I think Cena should totally just his mentality should be The Rock ain't important. I'm focused on WrestleMania and getting the title back. The Rock is a non-issue. After I win the title, then maybe after I beat Miz for the title at Mania, then maybe we'll talk about The Rock. But until then, he's not an issue. I don't care what he says. Mania and the title are my only focus. I think that's how Cena should treat The Rock. He should treat The Rock. He should do what nobody else has ever done. Treat The Rock like The Rock doesn't matter. Imagine how powerful that could be. And if there's one person... hang on, let me go take a drink. If there is one person in the WWE right now who could pull that off, I think it's Cena. I think Cena could do it. I think Cena is the one guy who could pull off that and make it believable. Treat The Rock like he doesn't matter. He is a non-issue. I don't care what The Rock does. He can host Mania, do what he wants. I'm focused on beating The Miz, taking the title. The Rock is a non-issue to me. He should totally just say, "Hey, The Rock's retired. He's a retired actor. I'm the face of the WWE. He's a non-issue. He doesn't matter." Because who has ever done that? No, has anyone ever done that? Has anyone ever treated The Rock like he didn't matter? He's never allowed people to do that. I think that's the most powerful thing Cena could do, and I hope that's what he does. Just says, "Hey, my focus is WrestleMania." That's all I got to say. What else do I want to say? I'm going to go ahead and give my final prediction for 2/21/11. It's tomorrow. We know it involves The Undertaker somehow. There's rumors about Sting. I don't think we're going to get Sting, though. There's rumors that it's going to end up being Taker versus Triple H, which doesn't make sense because you think if Taker's coming back, he has to go after Kane and Wade Barrett because they buried him. And if Triple H is coming back, he needs to go after Sheamus. So it wouldn't make sense for them to go after each other. I'm going to go ahead and say, you know what? What the hell? I'm going to predict Sting. I'm going to go ahead and call. I'm going to predict Sting shows up on 2/21/11. He's teaming with the Taker, just like I fantasy booked it. It's going to be Sting and Taker versus Kane and Wade Barrett. What else do I want to talk about? Kelly got rehired. She went after Vicky, and Lay Cool attacked her, and Trish Stratus made the save. Trish was also announced to be a trainer on Tough Enough, and I've been wondering, with Tough Enough coming back, what happens to NXT? And there was rumors that WWE's gonna also bring back the Diva Search. I'm like, that seems kind of odd. You're gonna have Tough Enough, Diva Search, and NXT at the same time? It's a little overkill. What else? I'm just rambling off the top of my head because I can't sleep, y'all. So, why wasn't Daniel Bryan in the Raw Elimination Chamber match? I didn't even think about that until I read an article somebody put out today to say he should have been. I'm like, yeah, that's a good point. Daniel Bryan is the United States Champion, although he still has a belt that nobody wants and never defends it because no one wants it. Dear God, because somebody I'm WWE. I'm dying. Could you just give me a U.S. title match? Could Daniel Bryan just defend that belt against somebody? God damn it. But like R-Truth was in it, so R-Truth made the chamber, but Daniel Bryan does. That just seems kind of weird to me. How the R-Truth is in, but the United States champion isn't. Alright. No Divas match was on the chamber tonight. You know, I read an article a couple days ago with somebody saying they thought there should have been a Divas Elimination Chamber match. I'm like, I don't know, you can't do an Elimination Chamber match in 3 minutes. Also, I don't think anybody would have been into it. The thing is, the Divas who can wrestle well enough to put on an entertaining chamber match don't get pushed that much, so nobody cares about them. And the ones that people do care about because they get pushed are the ones that wouldn't be that good. I mean, if we did leave a Divas Elimination Chamber match, who could we put in a match that would make the match entertaining, like a good, actual good wrestlers? Gail Kim, Beth Phoenix, Natalya. Gail Kim, Beth Phoenix, Natalya. Anybody else I'm leaving out that's like a decent female wrestler in WWE? No, so then who else do you put in? Alright, Wanna Lay Cool gotta be in it. You know they're not gonna do without Wanna Lay Cool being in the match. Eve is the Divas champion, so she'd have to be in there. Then your last spot would probably be Kelly because she's like the most popular diva. I mean, that just sounds kind of lackluster. But maybe we can get Trish and Kelly versus Lay Cool at Mania. That might be nice. What else I want to talk about? I talked about why isn't Daniel Bryan in the chamber. Yeah, that's enough stuff. I'm running out of stuff to ramble on about. See if I can find something to watch and try to get to sleep because I gotta go to work in the morning. But what else? Anything else about TNA I want to talk about? Let me check my time. I think it was enough rambling for once. Yeah. So, late night. I still can't sleep. I'm at 12 minutes. Fuck. I got some time to talk. 11:20 now. Anything else about TNA I want to talk about? Also today, some people are available if TNA is interested because some 90-day no-compete clauses ran out today. If you recall, there were 6 superstars released back in November whose 90 days were up. I believe it was Kalen Cross, Shad Gaspard, Luke Gallows, Jillian Hall, Taryn Terrell, who's Tiffany, and Lance Hoyt, aka Vance Archer. So, you know, WWE guys, some ex-WWE talent comes available. People automatically assume that someone will be going to TNA. So, let's talk about that for a second. Now, a few of these people are going to show up in TNA. Most likely would be Lance Hoyt because he was there before. And while they got a lot of hate from the I only like X Division guys, hated them. But I was a big fan. I was a fan of the Rock and Raven Faction. I wouldn't mind seeing them come back. Lance Hoyt and Jimmy Ray come back. They break out the Guitar Hero rock band guitars. You know, put Christy Hemme back in her 80s rock slut attire, and I always liked them. Nice addition to the tag team scene. I really like those guys. I wouldn't mind seeing that team come back for a while. And again, I always thought they were a good team, but you know, they get hate. They only get hate from the I only like X Division guys, you know. And that's a group in the IWC that's starting to get on my nerves. The I only like X Division guys. If it's not, you know, that if they're not doing 450 moonsaults and somersault star presses and shit like that, then they're automatically a bad wrestler. You know, a lot of people, you know, so 2 other people in TNA who are getting that bad rap from that group. Gunner and Murphy, that, you know, they're not freaking X Division guys, so everybody wants to say they suck. Yeah, they're two decent wrestlers. You know, I'd like for them to actually get a win eventually, so they can hopefully at some point have these guys be a legitimate, credible tag team. I'm hoping to get a shot when this whole moral thing's over. But still, just because they don't wrestle X Division style doesn't mean they're bad wrestlers. I hadn't seen them botch a move yet. They do the match the way they're told to do. They do okay. I haven't seen a single botch from Gunner or Murphy yet. If I'm wrong, show me a match. Put the clip up. Show and tell me the time. Show me where they botch. I hadn't seen it. Anyway, I'm a little bit off topic there. Jillian Hall and Tiffany. I'm afraid to say that most of those two, most likely Tiffany will get hired because she has the looks and very little talent. I mean, if one of those two were going to show up in TNA, I just have the feeling that TNA would hire the pretty face over the decent wrestler. You know, I wouldn't mind seeing Jillian Hall come under a new gimmick, you know, lose the implants, dye her hair maybe black or brown, just a different color, and just do something new. Just come be somebody new. You know, like jet black hair or red possibly, and you know, try something different. I like Jillian, and I wouldn't mind seeing her do something, get a shot in TNA for a little while. Kevin Cross, I didn't see much of him. He was on SmackDown the whole time, and I don't watch SmackDown. SmackDown bores me, and I don't watch it. I haven't watched a full episode of SmackDown in over a year, close to 2. So I can't really say much about Kalen Croft. Shad Gaspard, what the hell would he do? He ain't that great, and I don't know what he would do in TNA without. I mean, if anybody would, I have a hard time believing that anybody would be interested in Shad Gaspard if he hadn't got JTG with him. So I don't see Shad Gaspard getting a shot in TNA. I just can't think of anything they could do with him, and plus their roster's pretty crowded anyway. That's another pet peeve of mine when it comes to TNA. You know, people talking about the roster being overcrowded, which I agree. The roster's a bit crowded. But it's just almost my thing that they're all the same people who talk about the roster being overcrowded always talk about people they want to see get hired. Like, well, you know, it's weird. Like, you say, well, who you gonna fire? They'll name like 5 people to fire, but yet when you say who they want to hire, they got like a list of 10 people. It's like, you gotta even this out, and then, you know, and then they complain about how people aren't getting enough TV time. I mean, as loaded up as TNA is with storylines, there's still people who are barely on TV. I still hadn't seen Amazing Red in like months. You know, you ask people who to get rid of, everybody got. I mean, if you ask any people right now, you get to fire 5 people from TNA, who do you pick? No 2 people will give you the same 5 names. Everybody's gonna have a different answer. I mean, my 5 would be Rob Van Dam, Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy, Taz, and Devon. I want Tommy Dreamer gone too, but I think for some I can still tolerate Dreamer for a little while longer. I'll wait until you give me 5 more and then get rid of Dreamer. Hell, the fact that I said I'd get 5 Rob Van Dam and I didn't say Rob Terry, that right there was shocking people. He'd be on the second wave with Dreamer. You know, I feel like they gave Rob Terry has been given a fair enough chance. He just doesn't have the talent to be a wrestler. But you know what I think it is? And part of me thinks that the reason Rob Terry still has a job is because he looks like a megastar. Rob Terry looks like he should be main eventing WrestleMania. I just have this weird feeling that like if TNA fired Rob Terry, WWE would pick Rob Terry up, send him to Florida, work with him enough until he could be passable in the ring. They'd bring him up to TV and turn that dude into a star in 2 years. And then everybody would sit there and talk about how TNA dropped the ball with Rob Terry. Another example of TNA dropping the ball. They had this guy and couldn't capitalize on his star power. And I wonder if that's a lot of it too. Sometimes I think that about some guys. I wonder how come the guy doesn't get fired from TNA. I wonder that. I wonder if some people in the company think that, like, you know, the guy will go to WWE, they'll turn him into a big star. You know, Consequences Creed was in TNA and he left and he went to WWE and he's in FCW now under the name Xavier Woods. And maybe you know, a lot of people pan him. I remember he was there. I just heard so many people talk about how they'd fire him if they could. And I was thinking, like, why? Why do I hear so many people say that they fired Consequences Creed? What is so bad and wrong with him? It always shocked me. But I just remember so many people talking about how awful he is, how he should be fired, how he's a waste of talent, a waste of space on TNA, and they're stupid for having him under contract. And I'm like, you know what? He gets out of FCW, he goes to Raw, SmackDown, WWE turns him to a star. Those same people be sitting around going, oh gosh, see how TNA screwed up? They had this guy for 2 years and couldn't turn him into the star. You see how great the WWE did with him and blah 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 blah. Like, it's the same dude y'all was all saying fire. Oh, what else did I want to talk about? I already talked about Daniel Bryan having a belt that no one wants. Yeah, that's enough rambling for now. Alright. I'm gonna go ahead and end this video right now. I have rambled on for enough. Try to take a drink or something and get to sleep so I can go to work in the morning. So, this is the Shadow Ranger. Thank you for listening to me, because I just need something to do for a while I'm up this late at night. I'm gonna hopefully go to bed now. Goodbye.